Is this a dream within a dream? No, it's Least Important Things Season 4 premiere, and we're talking Inception. Blah.
I think I found a way home. And this last job, that's how I get there. Dreams feel real while we're in them. It's only when we wake up that we realize something was actually strange.
This was your responsibility. We are not prepared for this. The dream's collapsing.
I have it under control.
I'd hate to see out of control.
You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling.
Welcome to a podcast called Least Important Things, a show about movies, friendship, and finding meaning in the most important of the least important things. I'm your host, Luke Ferris. In today's episode, we are discussing Inception. Joining me today to talk about Inception is my dream thief partner in crime, Mike Wynne. Welcome, Mike, to Season 4 of Least Important Things.
Oh, yeah, I just woke up. I was in taking a quick nap.
Nap.
Yeah, I think it was it was only like a 5-minute nap, but it felt like an hour.
Yeah, it's almost like it's longer when you're dreaming.
Something like that.
Sometimes it feels like that. I didn't really even think about it. This is a perfect movie for you to talk about Mike's napping through movies. Now, here's a quandary. I'm jumping ahead to sections, but if you were taking a nap, if you fell asleep during Inception and started dreaming about Inception, are you like Inceptioning Inception? How many levels down are you?
No,
then?
I think if you wake up and figure out that you were actually dreaming to begin with about falling asleep,
okay,
like maybe you were dreaming about that whole incident, then that could be an inception of the incepted inception
of the film. Mike, there's a lot to talk about with Inception. I know it's been around for 15 years. This is the 15th anniversary, but I think it was a really fun way to start out our new season. Before we dive into the conversation, whether it's your first time listening or watching, or you've been a friend of the show for a long time, thank you. Thanks for being here. This is, again, the Season 4 premiere of Least Important Things, and it's a special one. We're shifting our focus a bit as a show, and we're going to do something we've never done before. A new episode every week. Yes, every Tuesday, wherever you listen to podcasts or on YouTube, you can get a new episode of Least Important Things. So make sure to subscribe wherever you like to listen or watch so you don't miss an episode. So what are these episodes going to look like? It's obviously going to focus on these three things: movies, friendship, and meaning. And Mike, it really comes back to you. I'm glad you're here as we talk about what's happening with the show, because this really started 5 years ago when we started rewatching the Jurassic franchise. And the through line of Least Important Things comes back to, really, for me, those three core focuses is movies, friendship, and meaning. And I feel like with Jurassic Pod, when we were watching all those movies, those are the three things that came out of it. We had a lot of fun, of course, but I think friendship was part of that, bringing other people in and finding meaning in the movies and how they affected us, whether it was something maybe a little bit more deeper or just fun. So thanks for being here and being part of this ride. It's crazy that's been 5 years.
Yeah, I can't really. It's hard for me to wrap my head around that. I think 5 years ago when we started, I didn't know if
when you were forced to be on a podcast with your friend.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, it's gone by so quickly because this really has been, getting to do something with a dear friend of mine.
Well, thanks for being a part of it.
And new friends along the way.
That's the best part. Like, I can't believe we started this just us two, and then I go back. I'm going to continue to talk about this past summer and watching the new Mission Impossible and having different folks that were guests on all of our franchises and episodes, all celebrating that movie together and being in the theater together. I felt like it was so symbolic of what our new direction is. So every week you're going to get a new episode. It's exciting, and we're going to cover mainly movies. Movies is that through line, but music, sports, books, etc. They'll all be part of that because it's about things that give us meaning, the least important things. And really, I want to explain the movie focus. One, it's because it's what you, the listeners and viewers, have responded to. And two, because, again, it's that thread that connects us all. And I think while we can talk about other things, the movies are going to be the consistent thing. And I really love talking to people about movies, obviously. But the more we do that and get more voices in, I think the more exciting it's going to be, hopefully as a listener, viewer, and our guests and friends that we bring along the way. So again, every week we're going to get a new episode, and it's going to be in similar formats that you're used to if you're a listener to this show. We're going to have our rewatch episodes like today. We will go back into the franchise world eventually. I think we'll probably cover some franchises, but we're going to take a little break from the franchises because I think we're a little franchised out. And it's too much power. We don't want the power to greenlight a new franchise sequel because we know we have that power, listeners. If you're a first-time listener, pretty much every rewatch series we've done, a new movie or a rumor of a new movie has come out of it, not intentionally. And so we have a lot of power and a lot of responsibility. So we're going to take a break, do one-offs like the movie we're doing today. We're also going to do discussion episodes. Now, those are going to look different and they're going to be unique, but it's going to be bringing those folks that you've met along the way, new friends, guests to chat about a topic, a movie, similar to things that we've done in the past. Like for Jurassic, we did a Jurassic Park movie draft where we drafted aspects of the franchise and created our own movie. So there'll be more things like that, fun gamifications that you can participate as listeners. And then we'll have some essay episodes that I've done in the past. Really, that is coming from the mind of yours truly, Luke. And as part of this new season, this is the other big announcement besides the weekly is we have launched a Patreon. Now, I've been hesitant to do this, but I think Patreon is the best platform for creators and communities to come together and engage with each other without the algorithms of social media. And social media is great. It's a beautiful tool, but I feel like Patreon has done a really good job of bringing people together, having creators have spaces so it's sustainable, but also you can have a lot of engagement. So we're going to be starting a Patreon, and I didn't want to start a Patreon if I couldn't commit to doing something every week to really give everyone value, to feel like they're part of it. So if you're a listener to the show, please join our Patreon as a free member, and there you can receive email alerts when new episodes are out, video updates, exclusive conversations, and additional information about the episodes that we're talking about. There'll be a lot of fun, more off-the-cuff stuff on Patreon, so please become a free member. And if you want to support the show for the same price as a cup of coffee or pint, you can become a friend of the show. That's our paid membership tier on Patreon. And you get a Least Important Things sticker as part of that. There it is.
Yes.
For those watching on YouTube. With a letter from me, exclusive content, and more special surprises to come. Supporting the show helps cover the cost of production tools and helps us make more episodes. So visit patreon.com/leastimportantthings to learn more. Again, that's patreon.com/leastimportantthings to learn more. Most importantly, this is an independent podcast, and the best way you can help the show is by recommending it to somebody. So please, when you're at a dinner party or having small talk in a break room, please recommend Least Important Things. Okay, Mike, let's get to our first rewatch of season 4, Inception.
Yes.
But before that, Mike, we have so many announcements. This is crazy. I mean, this is a dream within a dream announcements. Part of this exciting new season is that we're going to have a bunch of new advertisers for our rewatch episodes that have come on board as sponsors. And I think it's really exciting because I'm a user of all the products and services that of these organizations, businesses that are sponsoring our rewatch episodes.
Yeah.
So I believe in them, Mike. And I was hard.
Well, this is part of the reason why you have to do like a weekly podcast. Now we have people that are supporting us, so they're paying for exposure.
Exactly, and I didn't want to do that without your trust as a listener and viewer. I wanted to make sure that I use the products and services myself. So I'm not going to promote anything or have a partnership with a brand or an organization that I don't really believe in. So I just want to make that clear so we're totally transparent. And Mike, we have an amazing first sponsor on today's episode. This episode is brought to you by Cobb Extraction Inc. Need to damage or steal from your corporate competitors without realizing it? At Cobb Extraction Inc., we've got the team with 40 years of combined experience that can inception any idea you want to give a rival CEO, board of directors, or trust fund baby. We'll go to any level to get the job done. Don't hope for success, dream it with Cobb Extraction Inc. Sponsoring the show today. That we really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they really are.
No promo code, by the way. There's no promo code. No discount. This is a premium product, like I said. Premium
right, yeah. I mean, look, if you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Exactly. All right, our favorite segment of the show that we've already mentioned that is so apropos for today's episode. It is Mike's nap check-in. For those who haven't listened before, this is when we check in to see when Mike fell asleep in the middle of the movie. Mike, did you have a nap during Inception?
I did not.
Whoa!
Inception is one of my top 10 movies of all time.
Yes.
Even though I've seen it a million times. I actually think I've seen it over 20 times. Like,
so it's your number one, like you've seen it the most.
Yeah, out of any movie, this is the movie I've seen the most. That doesn't mean that it is my favorite movie of all time. It is in my top 10, okay? And my top 10 is not ranked. It's just you're in the top 10.
They're just floating. Yeah,
Yep.
There's no ranking. They're just floating. They're all equal. Well, Mike, can you read the back of the DVD? This section is where we look at the back of the DVD or VHS to describe the movie and the folks behind it.
Of course. Acclaimed filmmaker Christopher Nolan directs an international cast in this sci-fi action film that travels the globe and delves into the world of dreams. Dom Cobb, Leonardo DiCaprio, is the best there is at extraction, stealing valuable secrets inside the subconscious during the mind's vulnerable dream state. His skill has made him a coveted player in industrial espionage, but has also made him a fugitive and cost him dearly. Now he may get a second chance if he can do the impossible, the mission impossible.
Yes, I know. When I read that, it has the colons as well. I was like, oh, is this a typo? No, it's just for us.
If he can do the impossible, Inception, planting an idea rather than stealing one. If they succeed, Cobb and his team could pull off the perfect crime, but no planning or expertise can prepare them for a dangerous enemy who seems to predict their every move, an enemy only Cobb could have seen coming.
Ooh, that's good. Mission Impossible, Inception. This movie,
honestly, this could have been a Mission Impossible movie.
It could have. It's the closest I think we'll get to a Nolan Mission Impossible or Bond movie. That's my hot take.
Yeah.
For this episode, I think this is as close as we're gonna get. You could throw Tenet in there as kind of a
I was gonna say I've actually
I've
never seen Tenet.
I haven't either.
Oh, okay, good. That's actually really surprising that you and I, for as big of Christopher Nolan fans we've never seen Tenet.
I know. I blame COVID. It is written and directed by the aforementioned Christopher Nolan, acclaimed director, as the back of the DVD says. It is produced by his wife and partner, longtime collaborator, Emma Thomas, she never gets the credit that she deserves. I think a lot of times people look at Nolan as this big figure. She's so important to his success, and they've collaborated on most of his films. So she deserves just as much praise as he does. Cinematography by Wally Pfizer, who did a bunch of Nolan movies like Memento, Insomnia before this. He did The Italian Job, The Prestige, Batman Begins, Dark Knight. One of his early collaborators from a cinematography standpoint. And then you know him, you love him, music by Hans Zimmer. Quite possibly his most influential score, I think.
I mean, for me, yes. There's going to be a lot of Interstellar fans out there who may disagree.
Yes,
but
I could see that. I can see that. But the moi of it just really, which was kind of building from The Dark Knight, but I think this is just.
Do you get
the
credit for
evolution of that.
score? Does that get credit for being the score? I mean, it's already a song, right? It's just him manipulating the song.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It technically is. I think that counts. The music also features the guitarist John Martin Marr of the Smiths, which I didn't actually know until I did the research on this rewatch. I didn't realize he did some of the guitar there, which is very much Hans. He likes to collaborate. When I was rewatching some of the behind the scenes, Nolan said that at the end of the movie, they just let the music take over and get louder and louder, which is something I remember in the theater as you're getting all the levels and the kickbacks, and it's just the music, and especially this is such a good theater movie. It just overwhelms you as it builds. It's beautiful. All right, we got a great cast of stars. You know him, you love him. Leonardo DiCaprio as Cobb, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Arthur, Elliot Page as Adrian, Tom Hardy as Eames. This is my favorite Tom Hardy character, by the way. I wish we could have gotten an Eames spinoff.
Yeah.
Gosh, he's so good. Ken Watanabe as Saido, Dilip Rao as Yusef, Cillian Murphy as Robert Fisher, Tom Berenger as Browning, Marion Cotillard as Mel, Pete Postlethwaite as Maurice Fisher, and then Michael Caine as Miles. All those names have significant meaning and or references to architecture, which is why they have somewhat unique names. All right, Mike, ready for some facts that you can fact check? I'm not going to do the work for you.
Yeah, don't do the work.
I'm not going to do the work for you. Inception was released on July 13th, 2010, a very special day for me, which I'll get to later. That weekend, Mike, if you were in the theater in July of 2020 or 2010, you could have seen Twilight Eclipse. I know, one of your favorite movies of your favorite franchise, the Twilight franchise. Mm-hmm. Can't wait to do that franchise rewatch. It's coming. It's coming,
Over
listeners. I know you've been asking for it,
body.
listeners. It's coming. Yes, we will. It's gonna happen. That's my long. This is a big long con. 5 years plus to just get Mike to do a Twilight rewatch episode. Pressure. We can do this as a community. Join the Patreon and just do hashtag get Mike to talk about Twilight.
If 40 people sign up for the Patreon.
Okay. We will do it. All right. Get on the Patreon. Mike will talk about Twilight if we
talk about it. Yeah.
We will do a Twilight rewatch episode if 40 people join the Patreon. Also, Despicable Me, the first one, just Despicable Me, Toy Story 3, Grown Ups, and Night and Day, a Tom Cruise joint. That's a great summer.
That's actually movies. A re-release of that movie too.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I think it opened up as a different movie. I'm gonna fact check that one.
Fact check that one. I'm not gonna do the work for you. Inception was filmed in Los Angeles, Paris, London, Japan, Morocco, and Alberta. The budget was $160 million. This movie made $292 million domestically, worldwide, $828 million, almost $1 billion in 2010. And if you don't remember that time of life, that was right during the recession. So it's a pretty impressive number. For an original story movie to almost make $1 billion, and this isn't talking about Blu-ray sales, which we'll talk about later. The lasting legacy of this movie, it's truly incredible. Joseph Gordon-Levitt performed all but one of his own stunts during the fight scenes in the spinning hallways of the hotel. I really had to give him a lot of credit on the rewatch just to see how much physicality was required for that role of Arthur. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt, we don't necessarily think of him as an action star. So for him to commit to do it, and if you watch the behind the scenes, it was an extremely physical, tolling type of role. Not that was all done practically with wires and gravity. There was definitely some science involved. Christopher Nolan had said that the snow-based Third Level Dream was inspired by his favorite James Bond movie, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now,
That's an odd one to have as your
well,
favorite.
and here's where, speaking of Inception, this is the inception of that Bond film coming back into vogue. I truly believe it was obviously the homage on the screen in Inception with the Snow Fortress, but Nolan talked about On Her Majesty's Secret Service throughout that press tour and behind the scenes. So I think that's when people started saying, I should rewatch that. And where it
Do you
kind
think
of,
he owns the distribution rights for the movie now?
no, he would love to, but I think that's where that all started. That's my theory. But again, you gotta do the work. Just like Christopher Nolan's previous movie, The Dark Knight, no second unit team was hired for the making of this movie. All the shots were filmed by Nolan and the cinematographer Wally Pfizer. So that's kind of what we know as Nolan. He likes to be right next to the camera, right next to the actors, right in the action. He's hands-on is not really the right word or the right phrase. If you take the first letter of the main characters' names, Dom, Robert, Eames, Arthur, Mal, and Saito, it spells dreams. Ooh. And then if you add Peter, Adrian, and Yusuf, it makes dreams pay, which is what they're doing right now, or in the movie as mind thieves. Once Leonardo DiCaprio, who was, I think it was him, they had a backup. I think they're gonna either do Brad Pitt or maybe Denzel as a backup, but Leo said yes right away. He spent about 6 months with Christopher Nolan working on the script. And Nolan said that. He said, quote, he made some extraordinary contributions to the script that really challenged me to make the script clear, but also to follow the interior logic and really be true to the essence of the characters and the rules we set out. And then Emma Thomas said that, quote, the work DiCaprio did on his character with Chris made the movie less of a puzzle and more of a story of a character audiences could relate to. So a lot of that heart behind Dom's character about returning to his kids, overcoming grief, really, I think, takes Inception to the next level, pun intended, because it's less of a gimmick action movie and more of a character study and symbolic with what's happening around Dom. Kate Winslet was approached for the role as Mal, but turned it down, citing that she couldn't see herself as the character. But that would have been the third movie they would have collaborated on together, Leo and Kate, which I think is true. I think most people know that the Edith Piaf song was used as a plot device, and it's slowed down, as Mike referenced. But interestingly enough, this is pure coincidence. Marion Cotillard won her Oscar for playing Edith Piaf in the biopic La Vie en Rose in 2007, or 2007. Here's a fun one for folks from West Michigan. Eames is named after Charles Eames and Ray Eames, a married couple well known for their furniture design, connected to Herman Miller. And also they did some architecture and avant-garde documentary work. Chris Nolan said that one of his inspirations for this film, which he spent 10 years working on the script, was his sleep patterns as a college student. He a lot of times was up so late at night that he ended up taking naps, and those lucid dreams were part of him thinking about this dream world. This is the second highest grossing original movie worldwide after Avatar. That is not taking in inflation. And that's it. That's it for the fact checks that you can fact check. I'm not going to do the work for you. Mike, did you end up fact checking night and day?
Yeah, I was wrong.
That's what I thought. That's what you have to do the work for yourself. All right, we're moving on to OT's overall thoughts. Mike, you've said that this is the most watched movie. It's in your top 10. But what was your original experience with Inception?
It became. I don't remember. I don't remember what my original experience was. Like, I don't remember I've seen it so many times, I don't remember the first time I saw it. However, it was a movie I was flat out obsessed with. I, like, within the first 2 years of it being released, I think I watched it 10 to 15 times. I was just obsessed with, I mean, every bit of it. The story was so good. The intrigue, there's so many layers to it. There's stuff even now, like rewatching it, it's been probably, I don't know, it's been probably eight-ish years since I've watched it.
Yeah, same. I haven't watched it in a long time.
I watched it so much that it just
Same.
like, I grew fatigued of it. And so like this was a perfect rewatch of it. It just kind of reminded me of why I love this movie. And the cast is phenomenal. The everything about the movie. Like I just like overall thoughts is I really do believe this is a perfect movie.
Yeah, I rewatching it, I was like, wow, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a pretty good movie. This is definitely one of the best movies we've rewatched together and talked about on the podcast. It's probably neck and neck with Jurassic Park and maybe Fallout and the original Mission Impossible. I mean, it is a really good movie. I that totally resonates with me. This movie has been rewatched so many times by I think people of our generation, and it was something that you would do with your friends, family. It was just the thing to do when this movie came out, and then subsequently came out.
It was such a cultural moment too, because there was nothing about the word in the title Inception has nothing to do with the idea of something like the Russian nesting doll, right? Of something inside of something. But that word entered what's the
Zeitgeist.
The zeitgeist as
I just used it. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's everyone uses it colloquially now, and like it's just a slang word, like, or it's just a way to describe something.
Yeah, the idea of something within something is now just inception, which is like not the definition of the word.
No, not at all. Not at all. But that's why this movie changed everything that way. I remember July 13th, 2010 very well because I saw this on a midnight showing with friend of the pod, Justin Felton, and his older brother, future friend of the pod, Jacob Felton. And it was just the most mind-altering movie experience I had ever had. I was a huge Nolan fan because of the Batman movies, and those were seminal experiences in the theater as well. So I was ready. Like this was the movie it was the first time where I'm like, this is my guy, this is my director, this is my generation Spielberg, this is my generation's Kubrick. Like he's our guy. I'm all in. I'm going to be there midnight showing. I bought the ticket. I'm committed. And I don't think I slept that night. And then guess what? The same day, friend of the pod, Curtis Felton, and my brother, they both, I think Kurt worked third shift and my brother was working late, so they couldn't go to the midnight showing, or he was working early. They both couldn't go to the midnight showing. So I went with them at like a 7 o'clock showing the same day. So I saw Inception twice in less than 24 hours opening day. And yes, I didn't have a girlfriend most of middle school, high school, and I think that's an example of why I didn't have a girlfriend. So, but it was one of those days where I couldn't stop thinking about the movie and going. I had to see it again. As soon as I walked out of the theater, it begs you to go and watch it again because you want to just catch things because there's so much information happening. You can just enjoy the movie for the ride it is, but you want to again go back on that ride. It's like a great roller coaster.
I think something that Inception does really well, and it's actually a trope of a lot of Nolan's work, is there are movies that you see and they're very straightforward. And you may, and like, it doesn't, what's the right way to describe it? Like, they're tight. There's no confusion.
They're cozy. They're
very cozy
easy
movies.
watch. Easy to watch.
And
we might be covering a few of those.
Yeah, and then there are movies that are like extremely complicated, and you need to like debrief because nobody understands what's going on. And Nolan has found this sweet spot where he's able to write these extremely intricate movies. Like you think Memento and The Prestige that preceded this movie. And then Inception, and then you can throw Tenet. We've not seen it, but I've heard. You throw these movies in there.
Well, even Oppenheimer, like there's a
Yeah.
lot baked in there. The timelines. Dunkirk is like that, where it's not just a war movie.
And so like it's this thing where it's like everyone kind of walks out and nobody really understands 100% what happened, but they all understand what happened and they all want to talk about it, not because they didn't understand something, but because they're just like, what do you guys think? Like, what did you guys think of this? Like, what did you guys, and like, that's unique. You don't get that a lot, because when a movie tries to do what Inception does, it tends to confuse people more than intrigue them. And this movie is intriguing more than it is confusing.
I agree. And I think going back to that behind the scenes where DiCaprio was involved in helping with the emotion of Cobb's character, I think you have the puzzle piece and the wow and the big screen experience that Nolan can bring. But I think this movie has a lot of weight into it emotionally. I think the mall storyline, the kids, but also when you have Cillian Murphy opening the case, or opening the vault and taking out the spin wheel, in his face drives so much emotion. Like it's one of my favorite moments of the movie, even though like literally what's happening is illegal. They're trying to like incept him to break up his father's empire to help Saito out. Like,
yeah, but you root for it.
But you're rooting for, like, and Cillian Murphy does such an amazing job in that moment, and then the Han score is going, and like the whole fortress is falling together, and you're just so I don't know, it almost makes me cry every time I watch it, because especially because it's like it's a very simple but powerful idea that the father is disappointed in Cillian Murphy's character, not because he didn't live up to who he was, is that he tried to be him. Yeah. And what a powerful message, even though it is corporate espionage. It's a great,
I don't know. There's a lot of
there's probably a lot of worse things.
Like, but yeah,
it's not a bad thing.
The crap out of it.
That's not bad. I wish we had more of that corporate espionage. If that would the world be maybe a better place. I think I want to talk about some Blu-ray aspects, but I want to go back to in context, because 15 years, this movie really has been dissected. There's so much discourse. I mean, just for us to do a podcast about it, it's like, oh yeah, everything's been already said about this movie. There's been theories, all these things have happened, but I think it's really important to go back, and in rewatching this, I went back to July 13th, 2010. This is just such a wild and original, mind-bending thriller action movie that's an ode to architecture and cinema, and also became one of the biggest films of all time. We have to just remember the context. I think a lot of times time, or just like, it was so synonymous that people just, like you said, they just used the word Inception. It's just part of the culture. But to have an original movie like this be so popular, it's our generation's Matrix or The Fight Club or 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like, I truly believe that. And some people will argue, no, it's Interstellar. But to me, that's what Inception is. And this wasn't even Nolan's like peak. He didn't. It's like there's so much more to come. This was also a movie right at the time of home theater systems, HD televisions, and Blu-rays. And Mike, I remember we had just 2 years earlier moved to a new town. My dad got a new job, and one of the first things I think he spent it on was like a nice sound system and an HD TV. And it was such a big deal, as it should have been. Like, we were a basic cable antenna TV family. And I remember one of the first Blu-rays we bought as a family was Inception, and watching that and that sound system. I just remember it being such a seminal family experience. And this was like, you have to get it on Blu-ray. Like, this is why Blu-ray exists, is to have the Inception experience at home.
Yeah, this was one of the first Blu-rays I bought as an adult. It might have been the first. And 2010, I was a junior in high school, so that was like that was the height of like my love affair with cinema. And Luke, I was just really interested, so I looked up I wonder what other movies came out in 2010 because I'm sure there was other stuff that I was into at that time too. And I haven't vetted this take against other years, but right now I'm willing to make the take that 2010 is the greatest year for movies of all time.
I
Like,
think it's probably up there. I mean, definitely in this millennia.
it's incredible. I'm just gonna read a few of the movies that came out in 2010 in addition to Inception. Okay. Toy Story 3, Iron
Yes.
Man 2,
Ooh.
Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 1,
Wow, that's right. Another great. I remember that experience.
How to Train Your Dragon,
That's
Tangled,
crazy.
Tron Legacy, True Grit, Grown Ups, Little Fockers, Megamind, The King's Speech won Best Picture that year, Shutter Island, The Other Guys, Black Swan,
Oh my
The
gosh.
Expendables, The Social Network, The Book of Eli, The Fighter, The Town.
Stop. It's too much.
This might be the greatest year
I
in movie
forgot.
history.
So yeah, Social Network, and the diversity. Like just movies all across the. Wow, Book of Eli too. That was an early Blu-ray that we bought.
Easy A.
Oh my
Secretariat.
gosh.
Well, that
Easy
was
A.
Hold on, that was a re-release. Secretariat. I don't think Secretariat
Yeah,
came out that year.
that was 2004, I think. Easy A, another millennial standard for me. That was a movie I watched in basements in high school with co-eds.
Kick-Ass came out this year too.
Wow, what a year!
It's just, yeah. So this is a podcast about Inception, but I think to teach you more about how, if you haven't seen Inception, I don't know why you're even listening, but like to teach you more about like and remind you about how good this movie was, this is what it was stacked up against.
Yeah, it's not like 7 different like comic book or IP sequels. There's a lot of original movies as well that came out in 2010 or adaptations of books.
Scott
that were-
Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh yeah, man. Some of my
Yeah.
favorite movies are on that year. Obviously,
Yeah.
that was again peak movie going.
127
influence.
hours.
Wow, just throw that in there. Wow, what
Oh.
a time!
Also, I believe, yes, I didn't say this earlier. Did I say Avatar? Because Avatar came out.
No,
It says it did.
I think that was 2009. Yeah, that was 2009. But it was
way before. It was way before 2009, actually.
No, it was 2009. It was December of 2009. So but I see what you're saying. Like Avatar was still in theaters in 2010.
Okay. All right.
So Avatar came out in December and it was still in theaters, which
Whatever
makes
you say.
sense.
I actually think it came out. I think Avatar came out before. It doesn't matter. Fact check it yourself, okay? So, for the sake of this podcast, Avatar was out. All right.
Okay. It was. You can see
anyway.
it in the theaters in 2010. That
Anyway,
is
so
correct,
yeah,
David.
that's what the movie was stacked up against. But going back to the Blu-ray thing, yeah, I had the Blu-ray for this. I watched all the special features. You know, everyone's got a Blu-ray that they've seen all the special features on. Most people.
This is so many good special features. You can find
Yeah.
a lot of them on YouTube, but it's worth owning this for the special features.
And one of my favorite special features on my Blu-ray was a very little known documentary that was kind of like narrated and like guided. It wasn't made by. It was just like guided by presented by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And I don't even remember what it was called. Okay, I'd have to go look at the desk. But it was all about dreams and the science and study of dreams and sleep. And it was fascinating, but one of like the details about that documentary that stuck out to me was this story. And we're going to talk about the movie at some point, right? But
yes, I'm sure people
this actually may not even make it into this podcast.
No, it is going to, because we said like everyone said everything they need to know about Inception. I don't think anybody has talked about the Dreams documentary on the Blu-ray. That has nothing to do with the movie except for Joseph Gordon-Levitt. All right.
Okay. So in that documentary, they talk about this idea of sleepwalking. And everyone's familiar with the idea of sleepwalking, but did you know, Luke, that in 1987, there was a man.
I shouldn't be I should be laughing.
A Canadian man who drove 20 kilometers from his home in Ontario to the house of his in-laws. He entered their house with a key that has previously been given to him and a tire iron and bludgeoned his mother-in-law to death. He then turned on his father-in-law and attempted unsuccessfully to choke him to death. Then, covered in blood, he got back in his car and drove straight to a nearby police station, turning himself in and confessed, saying, "I think I just killed 2 people." And what they argued at trial was that he was automatistic and not criminally liable because he was sleepwalking. And from doctors' evidence, it was determined that the accused was sleepwalking at the time of the incident and that he suffered from a sleeping disorder rather than a neurological or psychiatric disorder.
Wow.
And 5 neurological experts also confirmed that he was sleepwalking during the time of the incident, and he was acquitted of the charges.
Wow. Sounds like he had some stuff to sort through with his in-laws as well, but maybe that wasn't part of the trial.
Maybe you should stop dreaming about killing his in-laws.
Oh, that is crazy. Well, it actually reminds me of the Mike Birbiglia stand-up Sleepwalk with Me. Like, it's an actual condition like that. He has to sleep in essentially a
rig.
A rig to like make sure that he can't get up because he believes his dreams are so real that he jumped out of a hotel window.
It's a real thing. And that documentary taught me about that. Yeah.
Wow. See, when you own physical media, you get exposed to things like this that you could not if you were just.
There's also I
didn't
experience it, but so like remember the days of like commentary.
Yes.
Me and you are the type of people that commentary was made for.
It was. I've watched the Ocean's 11 commentary a few times.
So my movie did not come with a commentary. The Inception.
Horrible. They probably couldn't get Leo.
But they did have what was called extraction mode.
Ooh.
And it's like you watch the movie Inception, and then it has some animated bits that take you like out of the movie and into like interviews of the cast and of Christopher Nolan talking either about
the
concept,
scene or
the scene, or about like something kind of like 30,000 foot view that's kind of like describing what you're watching. So that's what it was called, extraction.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's I guess that's like cooler than a commentary. They're like, the DVD people were like, we're not going to do a commentary. We're going to have a multimedia immersive experience. God bless them. God bless them. Mike, there's a lot of things in this movie that we could talk about, but if you're new to the show, if you're a longtime friend, at least important things. We love a good fictional corporation, and Inception is one of the best corporate espionage movies that you don't really realize is about corporations. I mean, we think about InGen with Jurassic Park. It's very obvious. There's a lot of movies where the corporation bad guys are a part of it. But this is a lot less subtle. Like, you don't really realize it's a corporate espionage movie until like the 5th time you watch it. So I'm going to break down what's actually happening. We have Proclus Global. This is Saito's company. Conglomerate, I'm assuming. So Saito, the opening scene is Cobol Engineering hires Dom to get Saito's expansion plans. We can assume Cobol Engineering is, it has to do with engineering and energy, probably. We know that. But that's where initially Saito essentially gives them a test to see if they can extract those plans. Then we have Fisher Morrow Energy Conglomerate. That is who Saito wants to take down. So Proclus Global wants to be the #1 company in energy. And what they're doing is breaking up Fisher Morrow Energy and disseminating it. So essentially, Saito's company, Proclus Global, can take it over. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone understands the fake corporations involved and what is actually happening beyond the dreams, like this is what's actually happening from a plot standpoint, and it happens in one airplane ride. That's pretty efficient corporate work.
Yeah.
I do have to say, it's worth him buying the airline.
Yeah, I think that is my favorite line.
It's going to be in the besties, so we'll get to it.
Okay,
It is amazing. All right, this movie has again been discussed. It has been fan-broed to death, but I do want to talk about some of the theories that are generally talked about when we think about the ending of the movie, specifically the plot. And I want to throw a couple of these theories at you, Mike, and give me your hot takes of whether you think they're good or not.
Okay.
All right, first theory. This is the big one with the top at the end of the movie. We don't see it fall. It is Cobb is still dreaming. He has not woken up. He's actually in a dream. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's when you're saying when he's in Mombasa and he goes under to test the compound.
When he tests that hardcore drug, he's asleep, and the rest of it is dreams, and he's still
And what supports
dreaming.
that theory?
I think it's
Because there's a scene of him waking up.
Yeah, and I think we don't see the top fall again. Like he doesn't test the top again. I don't think after that. I think that's part of it, and then but it's essentially people are using the ending, which is Nolan's playing with the audience there. Like that's intentionally. He's not trying to answer the question. He's just trying to spur discussion. It's just working backwards and trying to make it work. Here's another one. The theory that Mal is actually trying to save Cobb. It's the idea that he actually is dreaming. Mal is someone who's going in and trying to extract him to wake up. That's why she wants him to kill himself. So when Mal kills herself and jumps off the roof, she actually is waking up from a dream. I don't really like that one. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me.
Here's a fun one. Cobb is actually the target of an inception by Miles, his father-in-law, to heal from his trauma. And the big quote that kind of connects with this is the inception idea is, do you want to become an old man filled with regrets waiting to die alone? Like that is the main thread. That is the idea that Miles is using to incept Cobb. So this whole thing is not about an inception for this corporate takeover. It's actually Miles working on the back end to try to help his son-in-law or son. I don't know. He's the son-in-law.
I don't buy that one. That seems that like if you hold this against Occam's razor, it doesn't make sense to me.
No, I think most of them don't, and I think that's where you can theorize, but for me, it's just enjoy the experience. Here's the theory that actually makes the most sense because Nolan has talked about it. In Entertainment Weekly, he mentioned this, that the roles of Inception and the Inception team are similar to the roles used in filmmaking. Cobb is the director, Arthur is the producer, Adrian is the production designer, Eames is the actor, Saito is the studio, and Fisher is the audience. And this is the quote. In trying to write a team-based creative process, I wrote the one I know. And then here's the quote from Eames that I absolutely adore that could be related to filmmaking. You need the simplest version of the idea in order for it to grow naturally in the subject's mind.
Yeah.
That's movie making, baby. So that's not necessarily a fan theory, but to me, you could view this movie with the lens of a filmmaking or a collaborative experience.
It's interesting to me, and I haven't read the rest. I don't think you included the most credible theory.
Yeah, hit me.
Okay. Have you heard the theory that Cobb is awake at the end of the movie and that the top was not his totem?
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
It's the wedding ring is his actual totem, and he wears the wedding ring in dreams because that's when he was married. That's when he is married to Mal, and he does not have it on during awake sequences because he's not married to Mal anymore.
That's probably the best one because that makes the most sense because essentially we're being teased.
With the top, yeah.
But I would argue when he comes out of, when he's like testing it though, it's so emotional.
I know, yeah. And actually Nolan has been approached with these theories.
I'm sure.
And
I'm sure he loves that.
He's actually, you know, I think that he has, I'm going to be honest here and kind of speak where he has. I'm gonna scream where he's whispering.
Yes.
I think he's changed his mind because of the success of the movie. So I do think that he wrote the movie with a specific ending, regardless of the theory you want to believe.
Right.
I do believe that he has in his heart, in writing the movie, he knows what the ending is. But because of the success of the movie, and in order, you know, it's kind of the Michael Jordan thing. You know, Republicans buy basketball shoes too.
Right.
You know, he's not going to speak out against anybody's interpretation of the movie because it could be unpopular.
Right.
So
I agree.
But he has said, he's on the record as saying in an interview that there isn't an ending. You know, there isn't, like, it's up for everyone's interpretation.
Right. Yes.
Which
it's
is
very obvious that's what he wanted to do. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted the structure to remain plausible to where an audience could understand it, but he wanted this movie to be an idea, right?
Yeah.
That's the true Inception, is he wanted this movie to be an idea for us to discuss 15 years later and hopefully many more years after that. All right, let's move on to Leasties and Besties. Starting with Leasties. Least challenging dream level. We have Dream Level 1, the Rain City. Dream Level 2, the Hotel. Dream Level 3, Dream Fortress. And then Limbo, which is the Dream City architectural glacier, as they actually describe it when they were creating it, the architectural glacier. What's the least challenging dream level, one that you think you could probably get through pretty quickly?
Well, I can't ski.
Yep, so that'd be tough.
Probably the dream.
If I had Eames with me, I'd feel pretty confident in the Dream Fortress.
Yeah, I'd have to say Limbo.
I agree. Limbo. Yeah, I think that's like the one, because Limbo essentially is you can create it like when you get to that level. Now, it's hard to get out, but navigating it, it's definitely the easiest, or the least challenging, I would say, because it's really a reflection of your subconscious. All right. Least plausible explanation. Now, this movie, you could pick holes and poke holes and pull holes. All the holes could be, okay, I'm going to stop. But anyways, do you have a explanation when you rewatch this that you're like, I think the one that they brush over really quickly rewatching is that this was created by a military program to help soldiers fight in combat. Another one that I have a hard time still is like, who can create things in the dreams? Can like anybody do it? It's always really confusing to me.
Well, yeah, because Eames creates a bigger gun, you know.
Yeah, but he's not an architect.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
He's the actor. Like he can change his face.
Yeah. I think the military program, I feel like that is legitimate. Like, for me, the least, like, I guess, what's the point of this leasty? Like,
is there an explanation or a part of the movie that still beguiles you?
Yeah, I think the idea that shoot, what is it? The yes, there is. I'm trying to remember what it is now.
That's that confusing.
Yeah, I can't remember it.
I think another one that I struggle with is the memories, like holding on to your memories. I think that versus a dream, or making a memory your dream. I guess it's the whole idea is that the drugs too. Again, it's you can just let it be a movie. I think it goes sometimes that what you can actually create in the dream and how you create it is always confusing to me.
I think the like the training your subconscious is pretty difficult to explain. Like we see it, but we don't understand like how it occurs. And I get it. That's too much exposition.
Yeah. Yeah, we
But
don't need that.
but a militarized subconscious seems odd.
Yeah. That it seems like you could just hit a delete, control alt delete if you feel like you're under attack. Or just have it not be. That's where it gets a bit confusing.
Yeah. But I get it. I mean, I'm not too aggrieved by it.
All right, this is gonna be a hot one. Least valuable extraction role out of the team. Who's the least valuable? We have the dreamers, we have the architects, we have the forgers, and the chemists. I always think that architects are just really good at Minecraft. Like those will all like modern day architects would just be all Minecraft like Gen Z kids.
So I feel like the architect is only useful in very specific circumstances. Like number one, if they have extraction, like if they have a subconscious that's trained against extraction, and then number two, if you happen to be working with DomCop.
Yeah, exactly.
So like outside of that, how important is it
tough.
really?
It's important because of the traps that it sets, that essentially you're creating these puzzles and maps that the forgers can navigate. So I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
I would say the forgers and dreamers are a little bit more the grunts of the team, but also important. I think architects is a tough one because you don't have to be in the dream. Like Elliot Page's character, like she goes in, but
Right. So who's dreaming it? Somebody Eames or somebody?
That's always the confusing thing, and I'm sure someone has a chart of like whose dreams are the dreams.
I don't need that.
I don't need it. Just bring me on the ride. All right, let's move on to besties. Best dream level to hang out in. Again, we have Dream Level 1, the Rain City. We have Dream Level 2, Hotel. Dream Level 3, the Dream Fortress. And Limbo, Dream City, Architectural Glacier. Where would you like to hang out in? I'd like to hang out in the Dream Fortress just because of the On Her Majesty's Secret Service, I guess, but that would be a little dangerous. Is it Limbo again? Is that the place I'd want to hang out in?
Yeah, I think Limbo because it's the safest.
I mean, there was a reason why they were there for like 30 years. I think it's pretty fun, especially if you like Minecraft. It would be really fun. It's really essentially it's real life Minecraft.
Yeah.
Best team member of the Inception team, Arthur. I said Adrian, but it's Aradine.
Ariadne.
Ariadne, thank you. Eames, Saito, Youssef. Who's your favorite team member?
It's Eames for me.
Yeah, it's Eames. It's Tom Hardy steals this movie. I think for a lot of people, this is their first introduction to Tom Hardy, and I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and his character as Arthur is a little bit more of like the straight-laced guy, but I really like him. But I think Eames steals the movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tom Hardy's acting in this movie is just phenomenal. This was my introduction to Tom Hardy. So
the swagger.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a movie. When it came out, obviously we were still in the middle of like heyday Craig, but I don't know if Craig had, when he signed his contract. I think this was right when Craig was going to sign his new contract, like extend his contract, because Skyfall hadn't come out yet. But I remember everyone was like, oh, Tom Hardy should be the next Bond, because he kind of plays, Eames is kind of the Bond in this movie.
Yeah,
he's acting.
a little bit.
But it's better than that because he's got the action side, but he also is the actor, and I think that's the cool part of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, Eames.
Yeah.
Eames for me.
I do love Saito, played by Ken Watanabe.
Completely useless team member.
Yes, but he's the money. I think it's a great performance by him.
Yes.
And Nolan said that he was upset that he had to cut a lot of stuff out of Batman Begins because Ken Watanabe's in that first movie, and he was really glad to be able to showcase him more in this film. Speaking of Batman, this Inception team, the cast, we have a lot of people return to The Dark Knight Returns for the third installment. There's a lot of carryover. Obviously, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Tom Hardy coming back to the Batman world. Best scene. Opening extraction. Japanese castle and bathtub drop. Then we've got the Dream World Cafe. The CGI explosion at the cafe inspired so many Marvel movies. And I did rewatch the behind the scenes. So it's mostly practical, and there's CGI added that they had to do to protect the actors, because that's Elliot and Leonardo sitting there, and they used air cannons to fire off stuff, and then the CGI team added the harder materials that they couldn't risk with actors or stunt performers.
Yeah.
But I feel like this slow motion and that whole sequence, Doctor Strange wouldn't exist without Inception. Like that, the Doctor Strange character in Marvel, like that is essentially
isn't
the
it
Marvel
a comic
inside.
book character?
It is, but the cinematography and the design of those movies are essentially Inception.
I don't know, man. I'm not a Marvel guy.
I know. The hotel hallway fight, of course. The assault in the level 3 in the snow. Cobb's reveal about Maul and their past. Cillian Murphy's Inception reveal, as I mentioned, or the kickback. Again, this movie it's just kind of the entire movie. I don't know. Like, when you think of Inception, what stands out to you? Like, what is the scene that stands out to you?
Yeah, I think the cafe scene is iconic because it's
unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Yeah, it like blows your mind. You're like, yeah, it's crazy. And I think we've all kind of, I think a lot of this, there's moments of this movie that you relate to and moments that obviously are difficult to relate to, but I think we have all been in a state where we realize we're dreaming and fight either to stay in the dream or we get scared. And so, like, even though that specifically doesn't happen to us, the feeling that evokes, we all can relate to. And I think that nobody has been able to visualize and capture that in art quite like that scene does. So I love that scene. And then I would say, like, the best, saying it's the best scene for me would be difficult, but the hallway fight is a phenomenal shot. And it's just like, yeah.
Rewatching it again, it just held up so well. You're just like, how did they do this? Well, they built 3 different hallways. 1 was vertical and 2 were spinning, and they used just gravity to shoot it. And it's amazing. I just like always forget. It's like, no, they didn't go to a zero gravity chamber. They didn't fly into space. Like, they did that practically and just CGI'd out the wires. It's just incredible. One of the best stunt fights ever.
Yes.
It's insane. I don't know what that stunt performer's name that Joseph Gordon-Levitt fights with, but that is also, this is a great stunt performer movie because you can just have a bunch of stunt people in this movie without any explanation because they're just kind of like avatars. They're just it's perfect for if you have a ton of stunt performers.
The union was really happy.
Yeah, it's like, okay, and then Nolan actually talked about that because if we think about 2010, really when CGI was starting to be used, like when did the
greatest year in movie history?
Yeah, but the action genre was shifting to using its CGI, and it was, again, Avatar had just come out. It's just like computer graphics were everything, and people were starting to get really lazy in movie making. And Nolan said, I want to bring back the James Bond era where you had 30 stuntmen skiing down a mountain, and that's what really resonated with this movie looking back. I think best scene, is the iconic scene that when people think of Inception, it's the cafe sequence. And then I'll kind of follow up with it's a extended scene is the whole kickback, I would say.
Yeah, it's a great.
It's just
scene.
like boom, 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 boom.
I think
boom,
like
boom.
there's so much about what it's not one scene, but everything that Joseph Gordon-Levitt, that Arthur has to do in the hotel on
So
his
much
own
work.
is like crazy.
It's insane. We did say he's our favorite team member, but he was so much responsibility.
Yeah, he's probably the most like capable.
I would say well-rounded. Like he's a well-rounded,
yeah.
like stretch forward.
Well,
Like
he
he's giving
does
you
drop
20.
the ball sometimes because he didn't do his job on the research.
But he's kind of like the young up and coming. Like he's going to be the future Dom. But yeah, he's really good. He's going to give you, he's going to give you double digits every night. He might not be like the sexier, flashiest guy, but he's going to hit some crucial 3-pointers in the fourth quarter at the end of the game. He's going to hit a couple 3-pointers that you need. That's Arthur. He's reliable, and then he might make a one bonehead error. That's so good.
So good.
All right, best line. A lot of great lines, a lot of intellectual lines and fun lines in this movie. It's a good balance of intellectual lines that really stir to the human consciousness and then just fun lines. Here's one of my favorites. They have to, this is in the Mimbosa drug addicts. I don't know, it's a drug addict, dream addict scene. They come to be woken up. The dream is the reality.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
deep.
good.
Here's another one that from Cobb that I think a lot of people resonate with. Positive emotion trumps negative emotion every time. We yearn for reconciliation, for catharsis, which is truly, I think, one of the main themes of the movie is the catharsis that Cobb goes through, that Cillian Murphy's character goes through. A lot of the characters go through this catharsis. We mentioned it already, Sido. I bought the airline. It seemed neater. It's like the best laugh in the movie.
Well, it's just funny because like it seems like I think what I love about this line is what it teaches us about Saito's investment in this team. Like he's not just a passive he's not just a producer. He's not just an executive producer, right?
He's a producer. He's there. He's come in to save Dom and Mimbosa. Like he pulls up the car. Like he's protecting his investment.
Yeah, and what's another thing it teaches me? Yeah, like just how active he is, because the way that they set up that dialogue in that moment preceding that line is it's almost like it's being positioned, at least to the audience, that this is the first time this detail has emerged. And Saito's like, oh, I did advanced research and I've already bought the airline. Like,
and he's so nonchalant, like he's on his phone while he's talking, and it's just like, just seemed neater.
Yeah,
it's great. Another Cobb line: "Downwards is the only way forward." Resonates with me. And then the other big laugh of this movie that's in the trailer: "We mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling." That's by Eames. That he says that to Arthur and has the rocket launcher or the grenade launcher. That's amazing. I don't know if you have a favorite. I think it's hard for me. I think the intellectual one about positive emotion is up there for me. Mm-hmm. But "We mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger" is truly one of my favorite lines in movie history.
Yeah, it's a great one. I mean, it's a tie for me between the dream a little bigger, I bought the airline, and I really do love the doctor in Mombasa who says they come to be woken up. The dream is their reality. And then the line right after that is, "Who are you to say any different?" And it kind of has like a creepy laugh to it. And I just always love that because there's so much judgment in is it who's the doctor or who's the team member?
Yusuf.
No,
the dream guy.
The chemist. No,
the chemist. Yeah.
No, the guy who's like, oh, they come here every day to sleep. Maybe I don't know who said it, but it doesn't matter. No, they come to be woken up. Yeah,
that's good. All right, that is Leasties and Besties. Moving on to rankings. A new segment, and what's next? Okay, what did you rank this on Letterboxd, Mike?
Yeah, I was just looking that up.
So we're not good. If we do franchises, we'll do contained franchise rankings, meaning that if we have 4 movies, we'll compare and contrast. But for our one-offs, we're just going to say, what did you rank this on Letterboxd? you can find Mike on Letterboxd, Mike
Yeah.
Wynne, and you can find
So-
me, Luke H. Ferris.
I am extremely stingy.
Yes, you are. Yes.
With my rankings. And I've ranked over 200 movies and only 4 of them have 5 stars.
Wow.
That being said, these were rankings I converted from IMDb.
When you came, and then you came to the promised land over at Letterboxd.
So like IMDb is out of 10 stars and Letterboxd is out of,
This makes conversions.
I guess it's technically 10 because you get halves, but I have Inception 4.5 stars.
Wow.
Which I actually like. I'm looking at some other movies that I've ranked that highly, and they're all phenomenal movies. There's a couple that I feel like Inception's like 4.75 for me. You know what I mean? Like it's so close to 5, but I am just so stingy with that.
It's okay. You got to protect your account and what you're curating.
But then like I look at like one of my 5-star movies is Saving Private Ryan, and I'm like, oh, I don't know that Saving Private Ryan is better than Inception. But that's okay.
It's a work in progress. Letterboxd is a flowing, constant living organism that can change and alter with your moods. And you know me, listeners, I'm constantly rating things with emotion. But a huge part of my rankings, especially if I'm doing a rewatch, is connecting with rewatchability of now, 15 years later, the emotion of the first time I watched it, and then overall how much I think about this movie. So it's a 5 for me, 5 out of 5. That day, July 13th, 2010, seeing this movie twice in 24 hours, resonating for 15 years, being able to watch it again for the uncountable times and to still be able to walk away with that mind-bending state of, this is an incredible movie. I want to think and talk about this. To be able to still do that almost 2 decades later goes to the power of this movie. And even though it is so ingrained in our subculture and our culture as a whole, when we take it for what it is truly one of the most remarkable achievements in movie history.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'm going to upgrade.
Wow,
this
I
to
convinced
5
him.
stars.
I convinced him.
I was thinking
On
about
air.
I was thinking about it as you were sharing your review, and I was just like, what is keeping me from 5 stars on this? I will say, I did say the movie is perfect. It's not perfect in the, I don't know, like
It's perfect to you.
yeah. So
And that moves on to our new segment is we talk about this whole new part of Least Important Things for season 4. The whole new focus is about movies, friendship, and the last one is meaning. So Mike, what does this movie mean to you?
yeah, this movie, I wouldn't say it's a part of my identity because that is way too strong. But this was the movie that, like, it's just too strong. It's not a part of my identity. This movie is a part of my cinematic identity. Maybe this is the best way to describe it. My children will watch this movie before they graduate. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Yes.
like, it's one of those movies that I have earmarked, like, this is that important to me to share with
The next generation.
the next generation.
That's beautiful. I would say this movie was a seminal point in my life as a movie fan. It changed the way I view movies, what I realized movies could be. And I'm really thankful that I was there for it in the moment. And a lot of people have rethunk about what this movie is, Nolan, blah, 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 whatever you, over time. In the moment, being there in the theater twice in one day, this movie will always be that special place in my cinema history as a fan. And I'm just this movie will always mean a lot to me because of that. And then be able to, again, pass it on to the next generations to view it again as I get older. That's what movies is all about. And I think Inception defines what the movie experience can be and the possibilities of what it can be. All right. This was Inception, season 4 opener. Up next, we have our first discussion episode. And it's going to be about a very special cinematic city in America. Mike, thanks for going on this journey. Thanks for picking Inception. You picked this. It was fun to rewatch it and talk to you about it. It's time to go to bed and dream. And until next time, bye, friends.